Okay, welcome back. Black Box Games, Episode 6, Pinball. And for the first time in this series, the Black Box Games series on my channel, instead of doing a game on the NES Classic Mini, we're doing a Black Box game on the Kevtris, the HDMI modded front loader NES that I have, and I absolutely love it. And the only downside, because it's being played on a authentic cartridge, the high score is not saved. I was able to save my high scores on the NES Classic Mini Black Box games because it has the suspend point. So you just create a suspend point and your high score is saved. Can't do that on the Kevtris. My high score in Pinball, currently 247,100 points. And the thing about Pinball, we'll go ahead and get started. Either the game is very long or frustratingly short, because those 5 cards there, if you don't flip them over, you've got no chance at a high score. And they're quite difficult to flip over. Full disclosure, I'm not like a pinball genius or pinball wizard, but I do really like pinball video games. I've been known to play, on my YouTube channel no less, the Duke Nukem Forever pinball machine. I'm also very fond of 3D Space Cadet, which used to be on Windows. Alright, we're going to try and hatch that chicken. There we go. Now we've got the bumper guards on the side. Now if we can just get those 5 cards at the top turned over, we'll be in really great shape. Alright, so obviously we're not going to be talking about the history of the games. We never do that because, quite frankly, I find all that stuff uninteresting. I'm more interested, is this game fun? Pinball absolutely is. And this game, in my opinion, is a quote-unquote late bloomer. And what do I mean by that? So, when this game came out, one of the criticisms, which I happen to agree with... Alright, bonus round time. Alright, we're able to save it. But one of the criticisms when this game was new, when the whole Black Box series was new... Oh, not able to save it that time. Was that it should have cost less. You know, $50 was kind of a lot to ask for a game that was admittedly a bit dry on action compared to some of the other games at the time. Like, compare this to a game like Ice Climber. It's no comparison. Pinball, most definitely a little bit lackluster, compared to all the really neat and interesting things that are going on in a game of Ice Climber. And then, of course, after the heyday of the Black Box games, when the rest of the NES library was coming out, you compare it to games like, Mega Man 3 or Castlevania 2 or Ninja Gaiden. It seems awfully primitive. I would like to win the bonus round at least once on this channel. I have done it. It just requires a bit of luck. But even today, in the year 2024, this game is very much a game for a retro gamer on a budget. You can pick up a copy of Pinball for under $10, and I don't think you're going to find a better game than that. Or, excuse me, a better game than this in that price range. The only games I ever see in that price range are usually really bad sports games, like the John Elway football game. It's totally terrible, and you can probably have it for under $10. Or you can have Pinball, no question. I want Pinball. I think for under $10, This is an absolute steal. So at 100,000 points, our flippers will disappear, and at 50,000 points, we get a ball. At 100,000 points, our flippers disappear. They come back at 150,000 points. And no, you cannot tilt the machine. The action is a little bit slow, but I'm okay with that because I am not a pinball expert by any stretch. This is a very noob-friendly pinball machine. And boy, oh boy, this is a quiet game, isn't it? No music, very basic sound effects. I'm okay with it. You're not going to wake anyone up playing this game in the middle of the night. This is when I think of staying up late at night and playing an NES game. This is it. I always think of that great quote from the AVGN Atari episode where he says he's talking about some of the 2600 games that they don't have any music, and that games like that are meant to be played late at night in the dark, basking in the glow of the TV with the sound of crickets keeping you company. Even though this is not an Atari game, I do tend to agree with that. Pinball fits the bill for that. This is also a game I mentioned before on my channel that games like Mario Bros, to some degree Ice Climber for sure, when you're score chasing, you don't have to be 100% locked in. This is the game that you can divide your attention a bit while you score chase. It's not like Donkey Kong where if you're not 100% dialed in, then you're probably not going to do well. Whoops. Okay, if I can just flip over 2 more cards, we will be in business. Okay, there's one. We can just get that queen. Ah, all right, excellent. So we've got our side guards, gutter guards, whatever you call them. And now you can see we have a barrier between our flippers. So now we're really going to be able to rack up a decent score. As long as we can keep our side gutters, we should be fine. Hopefully we even win a bonus round. I usually approach the bonus round with a lot more confidence when I have the cards flipped over, because I know I'm going to get another chance. Ah, not this time. Especially now that we have the guards up and the cards turned over. Now I'm 100% relaxed. And this is as relaxed as you're ever going to feel when you're score chasing an old Nintendo game. Oh, no, that's a shame. Usually I do so much better once I have the cards turned over, but at least we got to show it off. Now, the bad news is, at 100,000 points, my flippers will disappear, so if you don't have the cards turned over when you hit 100,000 points, the game gets a whole lot harder. A funny video that showed up in my recommended feed. I always like to talk about videos that YouTube's algorithm is feeding me. One of the more interesting ones that caught my eye was, I guess they've been doing the arcade one-ups for a few years now. I didn't know this, but apparently they're also redoing the old pinball machines of yesteryear. Someone posted a video where they were shopping at Costco, and they saw the Jurassic Park pinball machine. I was kind of surprised. Now, the arcade one-ups, those are affordable, a few $100, much cheaper than an authentic arcade cabinet. It doesn't use an actual board. But a very different story with the pinball machines. The pinball machines, it's still, all the complex bells and whistles that you would expect that a classic pinball machine has. So they are much more expensive. An arcade one-up, maybe $300, $400, and you have to put it together yourself. Different story with the pinball machines that they're remaking. Those you have to pay, like they start at like $3,000 or $4,000. All right, if we could just win one bonus round, I'll be happy. Our flippers are about to disappear, so we're in some trouble. All right, goodbye flippers. If we're lucky, we'll either get 150,000 and get the flippers back, or we'll get the cards turned over. Or neither. Sometimes I feel like if the ball fires into that bonus round a little too quickly, it puts you in a bad way. Like you just start off the bonus round rough. All right, we got our flippers back. And it goes without saying, but the two end cards obviously are the two most difficult to flip over. Okay, just got to get the ace of spades over. All right, well, we got to show off just about everything. The only thing I didn't do was win a bonus round, and for that I apologize. But I was having fun. Just a 20-minute game of pinball. Got to show off flipping the cards over. Got to show off what the bonus round looks like. Wasn't able to do it. Getting the side bumpers. Um, Getting the seals activated. So the only thing I don't know that I've done, or at least not in a while, is getting the jackpot on the slot on the top part of the machine. But it's pinball. I absolutely love this game. Love score chasing it. Hands down, absolutely recommend it. Do yourself a favor if you're into collecting cartridges and you don't have it. Spend the $8, $9 or whatever and get yourself a copy of Pinball. It is just tops. All right, so that's Pinball in the Black Box series. Next, I'll go ahead and spoil it for you. The next one I want to do is Donkey Kong 3. So stay tuned.